Good morning, Carly. Stunning indeed. The Vatican released a statement this morning. It reads in part, at 7:35 this morning, the Bishop of Rome, Francis, returned to the house of the Father. His entire life was dedicated to the service of the Lord and his church. He taught us to live the values of the gospel with fidelity, courage, and universal love, especially in favor of the poorest and most marginalized. Pope Francis passed away in the Vatican's Casa Santa Marta. He was 88 years old. The news is heartbreaking and stunning, given that the Pope was just seen in public on Easter Sunday, greeting thousands of people in St. Peter's Square. It was his most high-profile event as he continued to recover from his almost fatal bout with double pneumonia. The Pope was greeted with cheers as he made his way through the square on the Pope-mobile. He's been having trouble speaking, so an aide had to read his speech, but he was able to talk briefly to offer his Easter blessing. The Pope, in his speech, called for peace in Gaza, Ukraine, and other hotspots around the world. The Pope had also met with Vice President J.D. Vance earlier in the day. Francis spent more than a month in the hospital fighting for his life, again after coming down with pneumonia. His doctor later saying he came close to death, calling it a miracle that he was even discharged. Francis was the first pope from the Western Hemisphere, the first from South America, and the first from the Jesuit order. He gained a reputation as being a modernizer, and he was outspoken about humanitarian crises, including the wars in Ukraine, the Middle East, and migration. And now reaction is pouring in from world leaders. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and French President Emmanuel Macron are among those sharing their condolences. This morning, Vice President J.D. Vance also sharing reaction on X. He says, "I just learned of the passing of Pope Francis. My heart goes out to the millions of Christians all over the world who loved him. I was happy to see him yesterday, though he was obviously very ill, but I'll always remember him for a homily he gave in the very early days of COVID. It was really quite beautiful. May God rest his soul." We'll see if Vance has anything to say on camera. He's currently in India, set to meet with the Indian Prime Minister there.
Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump live right now at the White House. Here we go. Let's tune in. This is the end of the national anthem. Donald Trump just appeared. The national anthem was sung. President Trump with the Easter Bunny. Here we go. Rocking and rolling. Let's freaking go. Donald Trump's going to speak. We are live.
Well, thank you very much, everybody, and a very happy Easter to everyone. It was a beautiful day yesterday, and it's a beautiful day today. We don't have to worry about sunburn, but looks like it's not going to be raining. It's going to be really something special. 40,000, 42,000 people are expected all throughout the day, and it's an honor to have you. I just signed an executive order putting the flags of our country, all of them, all federal flags and state flags, at half-mast in honor of Pope Francis. So he was a good man, worked hard. He loved the world, and it's an honor to do that. I want to thank everybody for being here. This is some band. I've heard this band actually indirectly for 4 years and very directly now for 4.5. And I like the direct method even better. But the Marine Corps band is very, very special. Thank you very much. What a great job. Thank you. Thank you. I also want to thank the National Park Service, the job they do and making everything so beautiful and spiffy. And I'm very difficult when it comes to that. I will tell you, very, very difficult. That I say they have done an incredible job. You just have to look around and see. And I just want to give a special thank you to our great First Lady who organized this entire event. She worked very, very hard on it. She worked very hard. I said, "What are you doing?" She said, "I'm working on the egg roll." I said, "That sounds like a lot of fun." And we're going to have a lot of fun in just a couple of minutes. But again, our country is doing very well. We had the highest number of recruits, enlistments that we've had in, I think, 28 or 29 years, and I'm sure we're going to actually beat that number. It's all happened since November 5th. It's all happened. Enrollment in the military is at a record, and enrollment in the police force, fire forces, and all of the different law enforcement groups. We're setting records. And 6 months ago, we couldn't get anybody. And now we're setting records. That's sort of testament to what's happening in terms of the spirit of our country. We love our country. And it's been something very, very special. And speaking of special, Easter is special. And it's one of our favorite days. It's one of our favorite periods of time. We're honoring Jesus Christ. And we're going to honor Jesus Christ very powerfully throughout our lives, all throughout our lives, not just now, all throughout our lives. We're bringing religion back in America. We're bringing a lot of things back, but religion is coming back to America. That's why you see the kind of numbers that you're seeing, the spirit and the kind of numbers that you're seeing. So we're going to come down and join you right now. But I just want to wish everybody once again, happy Easter and enjoy your lives. We're going to have a great 4 years. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Enjoy your lives. The classic Enjoy Your Lives line from Donald Trump. So here's what we're going to do here. We're going to follow the president's ton of breaking news today. There's so much, it's like, we could barely cover it all in one show. We got Trump walking down the steps with Melania, and they are rocking at the White House. Melania Trump looking gorgeous. Bit of a cloudy day in D.C., but a very, very, very beautiful morning. Yes, that's right. Flashback for those who know. When Trump says "Have a good life," this is the last thing that Trump said when he departed D.C. in 2020, in 2021, more accurately, after the election was stolen from him and darkness reigned. And now President Trump saying, "Have a good life," here with the light of the White House with him. And I have something very painful to admit to all of you. It's excruciating, in fact. My family was invited to come to this, and my kids are sick. And they've come down with a little bit of, the thing that's going around right now. And it's just like a no good time to go. We don't want to get anyone else sick or anything. So we've decided to remain in Tampa. Next year, as they say. Also, it's like a newborn. We have a newborn. We have an 18-month-old. President Trump getting serenaded right now by the Marine Corps band. They're called the President's Own. This is live right now from the White House. White House traditionally and famously celebrates Easter, the day after Easter, the Easter egg roll. First Lady. It's been a tradition for over 50 years. It's been on and off for over 100 years. But this is something that's been going down. They have a brand new Easter bunny this year. The Easter bunny will not have to show President Trump around like it did Joe Biden. Don't want to break from the live clip here. We are live. Why don't we listen to what the president's listening to right now? Trump bobbing his head. Trump dancing. You can see there. All right. All good fun. Aplomb. President Trump in great spirits. And here comes the Easter Bunny. Trump leading the Easter Bunny and not the other way around. Very important. There's our friend Andrea Hanks. She's on camera. She's a dear friend. Speaking of Trump with the media, that's the press right there. It looks like Donald Trump is speaking with the press. We're not like producers. See if you can find anything that would show President Trump's angle with the press, if there is one. You never know with these things. Donald Trump speaking with the press right now. Part of the reason why we're live, obviously, with Donald Trump is that he stops often to talk to the press, speak with us. Find a if anything, we'll find lower the audio. If anything, we will find we cannot hear the president, but we will find the footage afterward. Donald Trump taking his time speaking with reporters right now. Presumably, and yeah, check C-SPAN. They're typically one. I see a network camera in there, but those kind of things are not live. They'll be live to tape. I see a couple of network cameras in there. Our producers are looking furiously to see if we can get a footage of Trump right now, but what we are on is the official feed, so we're doing our best here. There's the official feed of President Trump at the White House today, but we have our best production team out and searching to see if we can get Trump live right now. Trump is live right now. We can just see his back. C-SPAN has the exact same angle. They're typically very good at this stuff. And there you can see the bunny wandering around. Who's inside of the bunny? Oh, there you go. Oh, what you got there, Klein? That's good. Yeah, I got more DEI cameramen. Let's see if we're going to switch feeds here just to see if we can hear the president. Yep. Can we hear anything there? Or is it just the band? Let's listen in. All right. Well, why don't we stick with this and we'll toggle back in between. Donald Trump taking his time. He's now been speaking to the press for about 3.5 minutes. And there he goes. Most likely commentary on Pope Francis. And what is going to be the story of the day, which is the Pope passed away last night, early hours after Easter. Small hours of the evening. President Trump speaking. Have no audio with the president on this, but it sounds like he's talking with the workers there at the Easter egg roll. They literally let kids roll Easter eggs around. Why don't we tone that down a little bit? Thank you. Again, it's just the president's Marine Corps band playing a tune. Donald Trump stopping for a photo, saying thanks very much to the staffers. And who's in the bunny? I mean, that's always the big question. Who gets to be inside of the bunny costume? Famously, it was Sean Spicer a couple years back. President Trump is going to now blow the whistle with the lovely Melania. Let the children roll their Easter eggs. You can see here. Holy smokes. Aggressive. Somebody needs to steroid test these kids as soon as possible. Those are not natural Easter egg rolls. Okay? We need to test. We need a robust testing system. Yeah, performance enhancing Easter egg rolls. Very wholesome. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah, we read the comments as well. We have lowered the guy blowing his trombone. The guy was pretty aggressive. Let's tune back in here and see. See if we can't get a little audio here from Trump. Okay, those kids are clearly cheating. All right, I'm not going to try and blackpill here. Those kids are straight up cheating. Okay, before Trump even blew the whistle, those kids were launching the eggs halfway across the field. Totally inappropriate. Absolutely cheating. Okay, probably Joe Biden's kids. Probably Joe Biden's grandkids. Just absolutely cheating in this performance-enhancing Easter egg roll.
Repeat that.
Can you tell I'm bitter that my family wasn't able to go? It's for the best. It's hard to travel with this many kids right now. I got three kids. I got 3 kids in diapers. It's tough to travel, man. There we go. Now Trump's telling the kids how not to cheat, which I think is great. Trump's like, here, don't cheat. So who's in the bunny costume? Who gets the humiliation of being in the bunny costume? What do you guys think? Is it Mike Waltz? That's right. Is it Mike Waltz? President Trump forcing Mike Waltz. The bunny is Carolyn Levitt. Let me know. We're gonna put up super chats right now. Let me know what you think is in the bunny costume. Cash is the bunny. The bunny is Carolyn Levitt. There we go. Give me a break. Producer Danny DeUrbina says that it's Barron Trump. That bunny costume would have to be 3 feet tall. Three stories tall. It would be 3 feet tall if it was Sean Spicer again. Oh! Look at that egg. Look at them. They're shocked. They're completely shocked. Like that. Their egg flew right by Trump. You need Secret Service. Egg flew right by Trump's head. Zoom. Yeah, you gotta have Secret Service for this kind of stuff. This is dangerous. These kids are overzealous. Somebody needs to, like, I need to see birth certificates for these kids. There need to be an age cutoff. This is out of control. President Trump turning back to the media, turning back to the reporters. See a wall of media and cameras behind him. Okay, we can hear some questions. I mean, listen, you know, we love it when Trump answers questions. So now we can hear the reporters, we can hear the questions. There we go. Okay.
Mr. President, do you have confidence in your defense secretary?
Here we go. Trump greeting a mix of press and fans. Trump with the bunny. ALX bunny would be peak. Yes, I love this. That's right. If there's a ALX bunny, that is approximately right. ALX is like 6'2". Trump's like 6'3", so technically could be ALX bunny. It would have to be a little. The bunny would have to be a little more, a little thinner. Let's just say. So this is like a gated area for the press. You can see some of the journalists. Trump cracking jokes. Trump meeting kids. Levitt or Jill Biden undercover. Jill Biden undercover in the bunny costume. No, the bunny is dressed too well to be Jill Biden. Tampon Tim. Okay. It could be Tampon Tim. You're right. Is Tampon Tim allowed to be this close to so many little children? I don't think so. Bunny's Carolyn Levitt. It could be. I doubt it. There we go. Oh, there's Carolyn Levitt. Okay, so myth busted. Trump and Carolyn Levitt chilling out, having a little chat, having a laugh. Trump talking with kids. Happy Easter Monday.
Amy, where's my mom? She's right here. Have everyone stay back.
They love Charlie.
Thanks so much. I think it's gonna be Trump because no one, because all the people want everyone in front of me.
We have Donald Trump there
You don't have a child.
greeting kids. The president kind of like reads the kids too. Tom Homan is the bunny. Is it Tom Homan? I would love for that bunny to like show up and deport people. If Tom Homan showed up with deportations in a bunny outfit, that would be the peak of my life. Peak of my life. Tom Homan in bunny outfit deported. Bunny is Kai Trump. Okay? President Trump's grandkids are there. You can see them in the background. Kai Trump is there. Don Jr.'s there. Meme maker, professional meme maker, official meme maker of the show, Jerry, saying that he hasn't seen J.D. Vance. Could the bunny be J.D. Vance? Yeah, I mean, we can turn. Yeah, we can definitely turn the. Yeah, we can definitely turn the audio down. Oh, our producers are listening in. If we can hear President Trump speaking, we can hear him talking. All we can hear is like muffling right now. We were waiting for President Trump to run over and talk to the cameras here. A lot of questions of the day. Huge breaking news. Obviously, the Pope has died. Klaus Schwab has resigned. There are big controversies about Joe Biden, if he's alive or not. The reason why is that Joe Biden had to Photoshop himself into his own Easter post yesterday. An obvious and clear Photoshop of Joe Biden in a fake Easter photo. Very strange. Very interesting vibes. And so, here we go. The bunny is Elon. Here we go. From Cindy Sheaver. The bunny is Elon. Again, ladies and gentlemen, if President Trump talks to the press here, President Trump is live. If President Trump talks to the press, he's like greeting little children. If Trump talks, we're going there, all right? So we're obviously not going to, it's just right now, it's very loud band and a lot of crowd murmurs, you know, and yelling. Okay, the bunny is Elon. Well, we'd have to get, Elon's very tall. You'd have to have a taller bunny suit. We're asking who's in the bunny. It's JD's wife. Usha bunny. Okay? It's Zelensky. I like that. That's the winner so far. Thank you, Spring Fauna. This is the winner so far. Who is in the bunny suit? Zelensky, that would be hilarious. This is how Zelensky pays back all the money that we've given. He pays back $300 billion. This is how Zelensky does it. He's like, plays the bunny. Plot twist, it's Kristi Noem doing early real ID checks. I like it. I like it. Okay, very good. Benny, get your hands out of the bunny bag, egg thief. Chocolate on your lib. Okay. Thank you, Texas Grown. Bunny bag. My kids did have large Easter baskets yesterday. I did steal some of their candy. Facts. Facts. My wife has healthy gummies and healthy M&Ms. I'm not sure how that's possible. Hit up Nurse Kate to figure it out. Kids in MAGA hats, right? Little kids in MAGA hats, you're chilling out with Trump. And we're not going to hold on this. There's a lot of news to talk about. We're not going to hold on this forever. You can see the bunny suit back there. It's just a novelty and it's funny. Here's Don Jr. This is Don Jr. and the New Bay. New Bay. Don's New Bay. No longer Kimberly Guilfoyle. Now it is New Bay. I don't actually know her name, but they've been a thing, right? They've been a thing, and also interesting story here. Tiger Woods is married into the. Tiger Woods is going to potentially marry into the Trump family through Don Jr.'s ex-wife Vanessa. Very interesting. Not a single child has been sniffed, and that's refreshing. Thank you, Dark Helmet. You're exactly right. The bunny is barren. Listen, Monty Man, I don't think so, because it would have to be an enormous bunny suit. It'd have to be a massive bunny suit. Now Don Jr. is doing whistle blows with the kiddos. Definitely Hunter Biden in the bunny suit. He needed the extra money. Yeah, you can also probably rip lines from the inside of a bunny suit pretty quickly. Big Tish in the bunny suit. Well, the bunny suit is definitely shaped correctly for Big Tish. That is true. It is all. Wide bunny suit. Crooked Biden in the bunny suit, getting extra sniffs in. You're right. It could be. We have the footage. We're not going to break from the live footage right now. We are live at the White House. We're not going to break from the live footage right now, but we have the clips lined up of the bunny literally showing Joe Biden around. Like the bunny had to control the president of the United States last year at Easter. It was really humiliating. The bunny is the next Ohio governor, Vivek, as an Ohioan. I think that would be a great move. Vivek is doing the bunny suit to get back into the Trump administration. Hey, you know what? Maybe. Maybe. Who's to say? We don't know. Alex Jones is the bunny. Can we try and book Alex Jones for this show? Just to figure out if this is true. All right, ladies and gentlemen. As we await President Trump speaking to the press, it looks like Trump is making his way around to where we have a live shot, right? Unfortunately, we don't have the shots of Donald Trump speaking to the press on the other side. We don't have that audio yet. We will get it, but we don't have it yet. Okay. But here we have Don Jr. and New Bay and Don Jr.'s children. Those are Donald Trump's grandchildren. New Bay is I gotta stop calling her that. We gotta get her name. Bettina Anderson. Thank you, Bettina Anderson. I'm not trying to be nothing but love. Nothing but love on this show. Nothing but love on this show. Okay, so Bettina Anderson is her name. Bettina Anderson wearing a beautiful gold coat. Ladies and gentlemen, gold is in right now. Make sure that you are locked in with your savings by investing in precious metals. Go gold. Have you seen the actual price of gold? Dude, there's been rocky ups and downs inside of the stock market. But gold has been skyrocketing. $3,400 an ounce. Crazy. Invest with my friends at Advantage Gold. Advantage Gold is hosting a summit with me on April 30th at 7 p.m. Eastern for the Gold and Silver Summit. Build your own strategic wealth reserve, physical and precious metals. If you're looking for real time-tested ways to safeguard your assets, this event you cannot afford to miss. Also, they're giving away $100,000 in free silver. Come on, man, you get $1,000 in free silver, $300 in bonuses. If you qualify, you must attend live. Secure your spot now for Advantage Gold Summit. Text Benny to 85545. That's Benny to 85545. Don't wait for the next crisis to hit. Text Benny to 85545. Data and message rates apply. Performance may vary. Always consult your tax professional. Here's President Trump back at it with the kiddos. I think Trump's signing autographs for the children. So this is actually what's happening. The Trump signing autographs. Why not? I mean, we're gonna try not to waste any much time here. But it's heartwarming. See, you can see through the phone here. President Trump chilling with the kiddos. We await one thing, which is Donald Trump speaking to the press. Trump is making his way over toward the cameras, and this is where the a large press phalanx is. And we assume that Donald Trump will talk to the cameras and will tell us what's up. Melania interceding here, saying we gotta go. Donald Trump doing his best, signing autographs for the little kids, making everybody's day. All right. Here we go. Obviously, we want to hear Trump sound off on Pope Francis, Klaus Schwab, some of the news of the day. But this is wholesome. I mean, come on. Hey, we got a USA chant. Don't get a lot of time to do wholesome content on the show, so why not? Let it rip.
Bye, everybody.
Talk to us, Trump. Trump, talk to us. Talk to us. Talk to the cameras.
Love you. We love you.
Give Melania a kiss. waiting to be happy crowds?
I think they're going very well. We're going to make a lot of money. We're already 25% on cars and aluminum and steel, taking in a lot of money, more money than this country's seen. And that's just the beginning. I don't know yet. We're going to be briefed on it right now. In fact, I'm going to the Oval Office. Say it. Would you like to go? Well, I don't know. I just have to look at the timing. We just lowered the flags throughout the country. Part of Russia. So I will be giving you a full detail over the next 3 days. But we had very good meetings on Ukraine, Russia. We had very good meetings actually on Iran too. We'll see how that works out. Yeah. Next step is we need a little time, but we had very good meetings on Iran. We had very good, and the tariffs are going very well, as you know. Everybody wants to negotiate.
Remember Pope Francis's legacy.
He's a very good man who loved the world, and he especially loved people that were having a hard time, and that's good with me.
So he preached tolerance for migrants. He preached tolerance for
Yes, he did. Yeah, he did. Yeah, I do. I really do. I mean, I hear they're doing that whole thing again. Here we go again. Just a waste of time. He is doing a great job.
Why do you still have confidence?
Because he's doing a great job. Thanks, ask the Houthis how he's doing.
There's a hearing today on the Alien Enemies Act in the DC District Court. Your thoughts on that, Mr. President?
Well, we were elected to clean up the mess of this country. And we had millions and millions of people come in who are criminals, who are murderers, who are everything you can imagine, drug lords, drug dealers. They came in from prisons and from mental institutions. And I was elected to move them out, among many other things. And that's what we're doing.
Mr. President,
Ask the Houthis how much this function is done. Pete's doing a great job. Everybody's happy with him. We have the highest recruitment numbers I think they've had in 28 years. No, he's doing a great job. It's just fake news. They just bring up stories. I guess it sounds like disgruntled employees. You know, he was put there to get rid of a lot of bad people, and that's what he's doing. So you don't always have friends when you do that.
Should we stop using the app?
I'm going to be there. I hope to be there.
The McLeod course are going to open that.
We're opening a fantastic project there, yeah. And I hope I'm going to get to see it.
We look forward to seeing it.
It's going to be great. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, will you comply with Supreme
Mr. President, immigrants, you've imported a lot of them to leave the country, but travel to Haiti is almost nearly impossible because flights have been suspended. What do you make of that?
Well, I make of the fact that we have to have a safe country. If people are in our country illegally, and if they have records that are very bad in particular, we have to get them out. I was, as you know, elected on the basis that we would have very little crime in our country. They don't want illegal immigrants. We've closed up the border. The border is now the strongest border we've ever had.
These are Haitians who came legally through that Biden-era program, who their communities, even in Texas, conservative voters saying these people should not be forced to leave.
Well, if they came legally, then they're going to be in good shape.
So you're not going to deport them. There's a Thursday deadline, Mr. Trump.
Both my parents work for the my mother works for ICE in the Newark office. My father works for the Thank you.
President Trump!
Thank you.
I see you, sir. How are you? This is my beautiful fiance.
How are you?
They're getting married in 2 weeks. Any advice for the new?
Yeah, make sure you like each other. If you don't get much. Yeah.
Real quickly,
Good man.
you talked about Jesus in your opening statement. How important is this country right now to?
Very important. It brings the country together. It's so important if we can do that. Religion. I said, bring religion back. Religion keeps you together. It's such a great thing.
Thank you, sir.
President Trump!
Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Well done. There we go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, very good. I'm really glad we were able to cover that. I mean, we don't get a lot of opportunity. You know, actually, only once per year do you ever get an opportunity to cover something wholesome like Donald Trump, letting little kids flip Easter eggs right past his head. Some of the commenters saying it was an egg assassination attempt. Goodness gracious. I mean, those eggs were flying, dude. What are those kids on? Performance-enhancing drugs. Really quickly here, because we do have a huge number of super chats roll in, and we have a photo of ALX next to Donald Trump to prove that it might have been him in the bunny outfit. We're going to check and see. Klein, put that up. It actually matches. It could have been ALX. ALX is producing the show from inside of the bunny outfit. Would be the most ALX thing ever. Really quickly, is it Caitlin Collins inside? Is this punishment? Okay, we're not sure. AOC has the bunny teeth. Just saying. It was could be AOC because of the bunny teeth. Macron is the right size. All right. Potentially. Here's ALX. You can see here how ALX may have been inside of the bunny suit. We don't know. I have no confirmation of this. I don't know. I've known ALX for a very long time. We built this show brick by brick. And the truth is that ALX could produce the show from inside of a bunny costume. He's probably one of the only men on earth who could do such a thing. He's standing next to Donald Trump here, and then here's Donald Trump with the bunny next to him. Tell me, show me right now. This, and then look. Same height, right? Very similar height. Same height, right? And then boom. Could be ALX. Maybe it could. The extra, ALX, the extra inch, it goes into the ears. Okay? Yeah, see how the ears are taller than Trump? That's where it is. You never know. Okay, just really quickly here because we have a ton of stuff, and we have guests and everything. Goodness gracious, Rosie O'Donnell in the Trump outfit, in the bunny outfit next to Trump. The same size face, I guess, right? The Rosie O'Donnell. Who else? It could be Bernie Sanders undercover, making sure that we aren't going towards oligarchy. The bunny is Jasmine Crockett. You know what? I would give anything for that giant bunny head just be put on Jasmine Crockett for her to not speak again. This is Bunny saying that bunnies are done farming, right? Yeah. Definitely Hunter Biden in the bunny suit. He needed the money. Here we go. Big tissue. Okay. All right. So I think we've gone through most of the. It's Rachel Ziegler. Yes. All right. This last one. Okay. Okay. Rachel Ziegler's career is totally over. If she's looking for a new acting job, probably, actually. This could be an easy payday for Rachel Ziegler. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, Pope Francis is dead. I know this is a tough situation for a lot of people. This is a tough one to cover because Pope Francis has a rep, let's just say, very controversial pope. I want to dispatch the number one trending topic on earth right now, which is that J.D. Vance killed Pope Francis. So we're going to cover all that here in our first block. Did J.D. Vance kill Pope Francis? And we're going to talk about the legacy of the Pope and so on. Let me begin by saying that I am not a Catholic. I have a deep appreciation for the Catholic tradition. However, that's not the tradition that I was raised in. And so I'm going to do my very level-headed best to try and steer clear of church politics, okay? Stay clear and just say that I deeply respect the fact that the Pope's a super powerful person and is the spiritual leader for 2 billion people around the world. And obviously that there is a deep iconography and tie-in with the seat of St. Peter to all Christian tradition. So major respect. And also the Pope is the longest serving head of state of any country or principality anywhere. Dictators come and go, kings come and go, presidents come and go. The office of the Pope is 2,000 years old. The office of the presidency is 200 years old. See what I mean? So who the Pope is matters, and it sets the tone for global politics. It sets the tone for what billions of people believe in their, in sort of the strength and the messaging of the church, right? And a lot of people don't like this Pope. Now, I'll tell you, the one place that I'll go politically here is that listen, man, while I don't follow the ins and outs of Catholic politics, internal church politics, dude, this Pope was woke by every measure that I could see. And, I'm not trying to offend anyone. And there's a lot of people, obviously mourning this, and we want to let the dead rest in peace. But if you look at the legacy, this Pope was big time open borders, big time climate change, and quite liberal, I think, as popes go. And so there's plenty of mourning. There's plenty of people wishing for now a return to a more conservative Catholicism. And I know that we have staff members at this company who are among them. And so the very best of luck for that white smoke pouring up from the Vatican chimneys and selecting a new pope. There are quite a few names that are being floated. The one that I see a lot of people like very happy about or very pleased about here is Cardinal Sarah. Everybody says Cardinal Sarah is like super base, but he's 80. He is pretty old, right? Some people saying maybe it wouldn't be a good idea to have an 80-year-old pope. But I don't get to vote, and neither do you. So the Cardinals are going to go in and they're going to vote. And the last thing the Pope did in public was an Easter blessing. So it's like,
Cari fratelli e sorelle, buona Pasqua.
There we go. Okay, so what you can hear here is that the Pope has double pneumonia. He's been in and out of the hospital. This is me like knocking down the fake news about JD. Pope has double pneumonia. He's been sick. He's 88 years old. He's wheelchair bound. He can barely speak. And so this is something that I think is honorable, right? He's performing his papal duties here, okay? Be as courteous as we possibly can, performing his papal duties here, and then meeting with J.D. Vance, which is the point of the Pope, right? He's the longest-serving seat of power in the world, and you meet with dignitaries and world leaders when that happens. So J.D. Vance meets with the Pope, and this is, as far as I know, the last time the Pope was photographed or was on video at all, right? So these are the Pope's final moments, is meeting with J.D. Vance. Very pleasant and cordial meeting. Here, listen.
Thank you.
These are the gifts. These are also gifts for you.
Thank you. It's beautiful.
The Vatican tie, and then the rosaries for your wife, the white for your children, and the red one is for. Thank you very much for your visit.
Of course. And thank you for seeing me.
So there you go.
Pray for you every day.
People are like, the Pope roasted J.D. Vance. That's totally untrue. That's just like obviously a lie. The Pope was lavishing J.D. Vance with gifts, and you could argue that the greatest gift would be like actually meeting him when the Pope is ready to pass on into the next life. So this is though what has libs seething and seizing on a brand new conspiracy theory about J.D. Vance. The libs are blaming J.D. Vance and saying that J.D. Vance killed the Pope because the Pope was sick. Speaking of sick, here's Keith Olbermann. And the number one trend in the world right now is actually that J.D. Vance killed the Pope. The thought process here is that J.D. Vance brought all manner of diseases and so on into the Vatican with an immunocompromised Pope. But what you will see is that the Pope was surrounded by staff and meeting, surrounded by hundreds, if not thousands of people. There were 40,000 people for Easter Mass at the Vatican yesterday. So that's insane. But that's, living in a modern society with a bunch of mentally ill people. J.D. Vance's response to all of this was to say, I just learned of the passing of Pope Francis. My heart goes out to the millions of Christians around the world who loved him. Happened to see him yesterday, though. He was obviously very ill. I'll remember him for his homily he gave in the early days of COVID. May God rest his soul. There you go. And he puts up a homily. I mean, we're not going to read it, but you can see it on JD's page. JD's post has gone viral. It's been seen by 8 million people. And, the comment section is the comment section, right? So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what the Catholic Church does. I really do hope that the Catholic Church goes the way of all of Western civilization, which is defending Christendom, defending Western civilization, defending the civilization that Catholicism built when it was the church, right? And before any schism, before anything else, like defending the tradition, not letting churches burn, not letting invaders take over culture and countries, not letting them attack Western civilization. I hope that there is a hard line and a hard stance on that. The church will cease to exist if there is if there is the underpinnings of the Western civilization that the church upheld are crumbled, right, and are pulled out from underneath it. Here's Cardinal Dolan on the Pope. Everybody loves Cardinal Dolan, particularly based cardinal and great dude. That is, I think that is Cardinal Dolan is beloved by Catholics, especially across this country. Talking Pope Francis and his life. Here we go.
We're convinced that even though Pope Francis is passed over from this life to the next, he still lives. He still lives. Even though we have rock-solid confidence in the mercy of Jesus, we never take it for granted. So we ask mercy upon his noble, eternal soul. You bet we do. He'd want us to. He was such an eloquent preacher of divine mercy. But we also offer gratitude to God for the gift that he was. We don't call him Holy Father for nothing. He's the father of our family. You couldn't choreograph it any better than what happened. The last time we saw him, Easter Sunday, the last words of Blessed Easter, as he gave us his blessing. You couldn't, the day that we believe Jesus rose from the dead and shares that victory with us, in which we trust by divine mercy, Pope Francis now shares in abundance. You couldn't have choreographed it better. And we thank him for that. The way he lived and the way he died, he was a great teacher, which the Pope is always called to be.
Okay, so we do have photos of, I think it's funny that everyone's going after JD for a very polite and just decent meeting with the Pope, and nobody said anything about this. Like, what the hell is going on here? Can somebody explain this to me? Like, how is this appropriate? Anyone? Look at that this poor Pope is like there in a wheelchair. He can't escape. He can't get away. And like Joe Biden, syphilitic, diseased Joe Biden, who really does look like a prop in the Haunted Mansion ride, Disneyland, is like doing something you shouldn't do to any human being. Like, what are you doing? Like, get your forehead off him. Like, in what universe is this appropriate? It's a wider image. There's a great video of this that shows Javier Milei, like, recoiling in disgust. Javier Milei, the leader of Argentina, recoiling in horror and disgust. And nobody could explain what Joe Biden exactly was doing here. Joe Biden using all of his political power to ensure that every tenet of his Catholic faith gets totally destroyed and violated by American law, doing everything he possibly can. Joe Biden doing everything he possibly can to desecrate his own church's teachings, and now, like, creepily doing this to the Pope. You've seen Joe Biden do this to, like, little children. It's actually creepier to watch him do this with grown men who are approximately his age, actually. I think the Pope's like 5 years older than Joe Biden, but not by much. Oh, there's the video. Just one more. Here we go. So nobody attacked. So you attacked J.D. Vance for just a totally polite meeting and say that he killed the Pope, and no lib has anything to say about this? Dude, look at Javier Milei there. He's like backing up. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Joe Biden, COVID breath all over him. Super weird. Last known photograph, ladies and gentlemen? Last known photograph, potentially, of the Pope? We're not sure. This is unconfirmed. And then we'll get to our great guest, Senator Ron Johnson. It's unconfirmed. We don't know. Is this the last known photograph? We don't know. I recognize the Easter Bunny. Now I recognize the Easter Bunny. Okay. All right. Very quickly here, who is the last Pope? President Trump has also honored the Pope in a post this morning, just saying a blessing. So who could be the next Pope? Again, this has major symbolism for Christianity, for the Christian Church itself. This has major impacts on the faith directionality, I think, of like billions of Christians around the world. So it's a very important choice, and we're going to be following it. Here we go.
that could be possibly the next Pope. I don't know what this stands out to you as. It's not exactly Thursday's NFL draft. We've had a chance to look at all of them and their pluses and minuses at an Indianapolis Superdome. But what stands out there, the region, one thing we can comment on the region. What region do you think we're most likely looking at?
Anyone who tells you they know who the next pope is or they have a pretty good idea is absolutely wrong. Now, yes, of course, there are leading cardinals in the sense that they are more prominent. But let me tell you, what's going to happen, Brian, is the cardinals that are under the age of 80, also those who are over 80, they will go to Rome, but only those under the age of 80 will vote. Right? There's not that many of them.
Just over
100, 138, I believe, right now. They will be the only ones voting. And many of them don't know each other.
All right.
Right? So they're going to go to Rome and they're going to have meetings and everyone's going to have a chance to stand up and say what they believe is the proper direction of the church. People will be watching them. Then they will all begin to talk and they will meet in restaurants in Rome and in hotel rooms and they will begin to discuss, who do you like? What about this person? And they will be talking about then 5, 6, 7, 8 people. When the cardinals walk into the Sistine Chapel to make their first vote, which will be probably about 6 days or so after his funeral, which could happen probably at the end of this week, when they walk into the Sistine Chapel, they will not know who the next pope is probably going to be. Mm-hmm. They will take a first vote. They'll see who gets the biggest numbers of votes, and then they begin to say, who's my second option? Who's my third option? Who is actually realistically able to be elected given the diversity of the College of Cardinals?
And the whole white smoke, black smoke thing?
That's so cool, isn't it?
Right.
You
white
like that.
Smoke is we got a pope. Black smoke, we got to keep.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, somebody who we're excited to talk about this and a lot of other breaking world news across the spectrum, including a lot of things that are happening inside of the DOJ and FBI, is the bulldog and watchdog from the great white north, the state of Wisconsin, giving us a spectacular senator in Ron Johnson, joining the show live now. Senator, welcome back to the show. We apologize for being a little bit late here. President Trump was walking around with an Easter bunny, and the chat was just going crazy, wondering who's inside of the bunny outfit. You are a very powerful senator. Do you have any idea who's in the bunny outfit today? I just got to start with that.
Well, Benny, I do not. I hope you and your listeners had a great and happy Easter.
Okay. Is it Kash Patel? Is this going to be, until you get full transparency from the FBI and the DOJ, do you think it's Kash Patel?
I would say this is pretty low on my priority list in terms of getting information out of this administration.
Who's playing the bunny? Okay. We look forward to disclosures on that. You are fighting right now for disclosures about January 6th and undercover FBI agents inside of the crowd. And we're really excited about that because, well, we've heard absolutely nothing except for lies from Christopher Wray. You have a brand new article up here from Fox News talking about your ongoing, I don't think you could call it a fight now because now the FBI is cooperating, correct?
Correct. Under this administration, it'll still be a tough slog. The deep state and people within these agencies and departments, they don't give up the secrets of the deep state very easily, no matter who's in charge.
Yes. So can you explain what you are pressing right now, the DOJ Inspector General on, and what you are looking for with this untasked undercover agents? Can you unpack that for us?
Well, again, what happens with government disclosure is it's always limited hangouts, modified limited hangouts. They'll give you some truth. They may give you lies, but they never share the whole story. And so we do know that there were individuals that were affiliated, confidential human sources, people that worked with the FBI, not necessarily for them, in the crowd. But the Inspector General report only talked about them and didn't open up its aperture and talk about other potential federal agents that might have also been in the crowd tasked to do specific things. So again, we just simply don't know. But again, this is a hallmark. What I have learned over the last few years in particular, and I think COVID really opened up my eyes, is the extent to which the federal government withholds information, covers things up, lies outright to the American people time and time and time again, now for decades. I mean, you can go back to the JFK assassination, the Warren Commission, RFK, MLK assassinations, Gulf of Tonkin. I mean, there's a long list of things the federal government has just outright lied to us about. We have no idea everything they are covering up. And it's just becoming more and more obvious as they continue to lie and cover things up.
I think that there's some hope, however, potentially on the horizon, because while they were able to get away with murdering the president on camera in the 1960s, there are far more questions that get asked in a much speedier process. And I think people are more aware, Senator, like the January 6th pipe bomber story. This is, of course, tertiary to January 6th. This is the one guy that did actually commit an act of terrorism on that day. It's somebody who, according to FBI whistleblowers who's been on the show, the FBI knows exactly who this person was. They were on the task force, set out to find this person. They have identities, they have DNA, they have voice matching, and then we've gotten nothing but corrupted information from the FBI about the January 6th pipe bomber. Do you think we'll ever know the identity of this person?
I don't. We're told though that AT&T and these other mobile carriers all of a sudden, or one of them had corrupted data, so they can't track cell phone in terms of where those geo locations are. Again, there's so many things just utterly suspicious. You look at the video, but you're right. In the 60s, we had one Zapruder film,
yes,
capturing JFK assassination. Now we have literally, for example, thousands of recordings of what happened in July 13th in Pennsylvania, in Butler, that assassination attempt. So it's getting more and more difficult to hide things. Again, it's not that the federal government doesn't attempt to hide things, but it's more difficult for them to get away with doing it. Now, it's still hard to get to the bottom answers. People who do wrong things, that commit crimes, they try and cover things up. And when you have the power of the federal government, you've got a lot of power to cover things up.
So you believe that this is a federal cover-up with the pipe bomber? Is that your conclusion?
Oh, I think all of January 6th, I think there's a massive cover-up of exactly what happened. We haven't even begun to scratch the surface of exactly what happened on January 6th. I mean, the lack of security around the Capitol. We had more security. There was more of a game plan. We were briefed more on the Brett Kavanaugh hearings than we were for that inauguration or for that day, when we knew there were going to be tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people protesting the election. So why weren't we prepared? Why weren't there, why wasn't there visible law enforcement on the West Capitol? They had bicycle racks, but they didn't have a visible police presence. I mean, it's absurd what happened. And then it's even more absurd what happened afterwards in terms of the Biden administration basically accusing half of America being potential domestic terrorism, the trampling of people's constitutional rights through speedy trial. Again, there's so much that went wrong with January 6th and surrounding it that I think is just being covered up.
Yeah, these Americans were deprived of due process. Many of them languished in prisons for a long time in this country. Democrats are demanding that foreign terrorists who have no right to be here get every single one of them a trial inside of our court system and the right to appeal before they are deported. You'll lose your country in one generation if you do that to the tens of millions of criminal aliens that are brought in to this country. What's your response to that Supreme Court ruling late in the small hours of the morning over the weekend?
Which one was that?
When they said that the Alien Enemies Act, the Supreme Court ruling that they can't be, criminal aliens can't be deported via the Alien Enemies Act.
Right. Again, I don't know the specifics of the ruling. I don't think it's a definitive ruling. I think it's just kind of a hold in place until this thing can work its way through the courts. I mean, our judicial system, the wheels of justice turn very slowly. But I completely agree with the fact that Tom Homan said Democrats could have cared less to vet the millions of people the Biden administration and their policies allowed in this country. Now they want to vet every one of the criminals and potential terrorists that President Trump and Tom Homan are trying to deport. Again, the double standard is glaring.
Yeah, it's glaring. We covered on Friday, and I wanted to get your thought on this because you're the king of oversight. I know there's a crown that goes between you and Chuck Grassley, and we really respect your work, and we do our very best to support it. It was really nice to see this, because what people are looking for, Senator, is like a bright spot. And I know that everyone needs to be patient, but there's been so much that the country's been through. And the redoing of COVID.org was really refreshing for this audience because they placed the blame directly at the feet of Dr. Fauci. And it seemed like potentially there, it even included the Fauci pardon at the bottom, saying that he's effectively a criminal in how he covered up COVID. I know this is an issue that's near and dear to you. Will we ever see, what levels of accountability will we ever see for this?
Well, if I had my way, a lot of accountability, which starts with exposure. Again, I've been less interested in the COVID origins because I think it's been obvious since early in 2020 that this was man-made, probably released from a lab in Wuhan, and also because they gave the Chinese so much running room that the definitive evidence is probably be lost for history. So I've been less concerned about that than wondering why didn't we treat COVID? What happened in terms of the sabotage of early treatment, and why have we completely been covering up the vaccine, the injection, the COVID injection injuries? So, my tweet after the White House acknowledged that this was probably a lab leak was, okay, that's great, acknowledging something that I think has been obvious for years. Next step is start acknowledging the fact that these COVID injections injured a lot of people, destroyed their lives, killed people, acknowledging that fact so these individuals can be helped so they can be treated.
What can we expect? Here's the post that you made right here. What can we expect next for some type of disclosure, some type of arrest, some type of revelation? You're at the center of the center when it comes to government oversight. Again, the crown is passing from Chuck Grassley to you for the king of oversight. Can you give our audience a little bit of an insight into what's being worked on right now?
Well, unfortunately, I think you can expect that a lot of documents were destroyed. It was my staff that uncovered the needle in the haystack with David Morins, or Dr. Morins, saying how he worked with a FOIA individual to avoid providing information under Freedom of Information Act. We sent out a letter now to Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, and the Office of Inspector General of HHS because Tom Shimbakura, the individual within the CDC that was supposed to be watching over the safety surveillance systems, it was touting how wonderful theirs is going to be before they started trashing it. In response to our subpoena, HHS can't find any of the any communication responsive to our request from Tom Shimbakura. So we referred that to the FBI and Justice Department. So my guess is this is one CDC individual that's probably destroyed an awful lot of his communications, awful lot of records. So again, it's not going to be automatic. As much as I know, RFK Jr. is dedicated to radical transparency. I can pretty well guarantee that the people that are within these agencies, a lot of them are going to cover their tracks and cover things up and destroy a lot of evidence. So that's going to be frustrating for investigators like myself. It's going to be very frustrating for the American public because this is their information. They deserve the truth. It's been hidden from them way too long. But again, that's just in one area. I think it's interesting. I've been following you. You're starting to open up the aperture on 9/11, World Trade Center number 7. What the firefighters are telling us. I think that's something that needs to be explored as well. Now, I know you and I are both considered conspiracy theorists, but that's exactly how they keep this stuff covered up, is they accuse those of us that want to expose the truth that we're just a bunch of conspiracy theorists.
Well, members of Congress are now coming forward on Tucker's show and saying, hey, they've completely attacked my family and destroyed my career because I questioned the official story of September 11th, and none of it makes sense. And so the only way to find the truth is to ask the right questions. And this is the single most consequential moment in America. America changed forever, not for the better, after September 11th. And it's worth understanding what truly happened, just like on January 6th. To try and find the truth, you have to be able to ask the right questions. You go back to the firefighters. Every firefighter inside of those buildings was saying, including Donald Trump, was saying that this official narrative cannot be true. And so, we hope that there's some disclosures there as well. One final thing, and you brought it up, and it was chilling. You said that they've destroyed the documents. And you're just talking about COVID documents. So do we have any hope of ever getting like a proper Epstein document dump? Is there like actual hope here of getting any true documents that are related to events of September 11th or JFK? Or have those things been so black boxed and so decimated that we'll never know the real truth?
Well, again, just like we have thousands of recordings versus one Zapruder film, it's not just the sender that has a record of email communications, for example. So, I mean, the Dr. Morin's email, we didn't get that from the agencies. We got that from a university that email was sent to. So there's a lot of people, we gather information from all kinds of different sources, and we cross-reference, when we're asking for certain communications. If we get it from one party outside the government and we don't get it from people within the government, that's how we have evidence that they're either covering something up or they've already tried to destroy evidence. But again, in today's electronic world, it's hard to destroy, particularly electronic evidence.
But they're still doing it. But you were able to find cases of them doing it.
Yeah, well, again, my guess is they are. And again, the fact that there's nothing responsive to our subpoena with Tom Shimabukuro indicates that, yes, he absolutely destroyed evidence. That we had sent letters, preservation of record letters repeatedly to the agencies not to destroy this evidence.
And I know that we're up against a hard out. Just one final question, since you brought it up. What would you like to know about September 11th, the official story there, Senator?
Well, start with Building 7. Again, I don't know that you can find structural engineers other than the ones that had the corrupt investigation inside NIST that would say that thing didn't come down in any other way than a controlled demolition. I mean, you just look at that. You talk about molten steel. Again, you listen to the documentary Bravo 7. There's an awful lot of questions. Who ordered the removal and then destruction of all that evidence? Totally contrary to any other firefighting investigation procedures. I mean, who ordered that? Who was in charge? I think there's some basic information. Where's all the documentation from the NIST investigation? No, there are a host of questions that I want, and I will be asking, quite honestly, now that my eyes have been opened up. I've talked to former Congressman Kurt Weldon now. I will work with him to expose what he's willing to expose as well.
Wow. So we may actually see hearings about this.
I think so. And by the way, this was opened up when my ranking member now, when he was chairman of the Permanent Subcommittee Investigation, he did the investigation on the PGA and Live Golf and the PIF. Part of that is we had 9/11 families coming forward and saying, we want the FBI files unredacted. We want those made available in terms of what happened. What did the FBI know what happened? So we got engaged with that on a bipartisan basis. We want to get those answers, those documents for the families. Again, we didn't get squat from the FBI. So hopefully now with this administration, I think President Trump should have some interest being a New Yorker from himself. What actually happened in 9/11? What do we know? What is being covered up? My guess is there's an awful lot being covered up in terms of what the American government knows about 9/11.
Wow, including who let the hijackers into the country, which was John Brennan, station chief in Doha. Why would he do that? And why would you let him take flight lessons? There's so many things that don't make absolutely no sense at all when you actually look at the government's own documentation. This is from Guantanamo Bay. And then to your last point, and then let's please put up the senator's X account here. Everybody follow Ron Johnson. This is bombshell stuff. But yeah, President Trump on the morning of September 11th saying there's no way that those buildings came down by themselves. They're the strongest buildings in all of New York. There's no way they came down that way. This is President Trump's own words. And it matches the words of the firefighters who were in the building, many of them who've perished. So we owe them, at the very least, these guys gave their lives. We owe them the chance to get absolution here and the truth. Thank you, Senator, for fighting for those things. God bless you and Godspeed in your pursuit of the truth.
Take care. Thanks for having me on.
I wasn't planning on going there with the senator, but he brought it up, and sometimes you're like taken aback. You're kind of. It takes a second to re-register, just like that. We're living in a moment where people like Ron Johnson are willing to ask the questions that would have gotten you taken off air, maybe kicked out of the Senate a couple of years, like 2 decades ago, right? If you would have questioned the government's official narrative, it was like questioning the church at the height of the Middle Ages. It's something. It's really remarkable. So that's crazy. Like, that's big bombshell stuff. Senator Ron Johnson confirming that we may have September 11th Truth and Reconciliation hearings. Wow. In the Senate. Remarkable. Sometimes you just never know, right? You just never know what you're gonna talk about. And we didn't know that Klaus Schwab would be resigning from the World Economic Forum. That's something that happened this morning. Man, we woke up with a piping hot cup of breaking news this morning. We're going to cover this in just 1 second. We also have an incredible sheriff who's going to be on to talk about the origins of MS-13 and who is the Maryland man who was deported, rightfully, back to his home country. Was he MS-13? All of it brought to you by the fact that we have a piping hot cup of coffee in front of us at all times. The contents of this coffee, Blackout Coffee, you know it, baby. Blackout Coffee powers our show. Hard work and grit powers Blackout Coffee. The American dream is brought to you by people who start businesses, young entrepreneurs, people that really care about their craft. Blackout Coffee is damn good coffee. It's run by an uncompromising team here out of Florida in a 64,000 square foot facility, 30 hardworking Americans, a true family startup from actual patriots. I know them personally. They have powered the show for a very long time. I am a big-time caffeine guy. No nicotine, okay? Maybe someday. I'm not sure. Okay, yeah. Klein's going crazy. Klein loves his nicotine. Ladies and gentlemen, it's caffeine for me, okay? This small batch, deliciously roasted coffee right here in America, made from patriotic Americans. And, Klein, you can throw your can all you want. This is all that I need in the morning. Blackout Coffee, if you believe in American values. Blackout Coffee, code Benny for 20% off. Support the American dream here. Drink Blackout. The website is blackoutcoffee.com/Benny. Drink real coffee, okay? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Klaus Schwab out. Klaus Schwab out. All right, here we go. Yeah, now the producer chat is melting down about who's trying to quit nicotine or who's trying to mainline it. What? Just caffeine. Caffeine's the way. All right, anyway. Klaus Schwab has gone. He is the same age as the Pope. Is that true? Yes, he's 88. All right. But what I mean is that he's gone from the World Economic Board in a shock resignation. Klaus Schwab is gone. The AP reports that Schwab informed the World Economic Board yesterday, "I'm out. I've decided to step down from the position of chair. Board of Trustees. Immediate effect. His departure means he will no longer be at the hand of personally meet the wealthy, privileged, and famous who flock every single year to the WEF and to be just a straight-up Bond villain. The WEF is also facing some major lawsuits. You wouldn't believe it, for not being woke enough. I kid you not. For discrimination against black and female employees. This is a scandal that is also embroiled Klaus Schwab, who was born in Ravensburg, Germany. He is a son of a Nazi collaborator who made munitions. What munitions did Klaus Schwab's family make? They made flamethrowers to kill American soldiers. Do you know this? Now people are like going over and kissing this guy's ass, like Americans are going over kissing this guy's ass. He's like an actual supervillain. This was his father. This is what he did. Klaus Schwab went and studied at Harvard, of course. And then he went back and he started the World Economic Forum. Nobody's quite sure what they do or why they have power. They shouldn't. Again, Klaus Schwab is a central casting for a Bond villain. He even has the accent. Here we go.
Let's also be clear. The future is not just happening. The future is built by us, by a powerful community as you here in this room. We have the means to improve the states of the world. But two conditions are necessary. The first one is that we act all as stakeholders.
We must master the future. I want to thank Klaus Schwab. Please don't cancel me. I want to thank Klaus Schwab for one thing. He gave us the single most hysterical side-splitting Tucker impersonations, and we are, since we're celebrating Klaus Schwab going bye-bye, we're going to play them for you now. These are my favorite Tucker impressions of all time. Let's go.
What does it need to master the future? I think to have a platform where all stakeholders of global society are engaged.
We masters of future. Masters of. Time to check in with our lizard overlords in Davos, Switzerland. What are they up to? Well, this. Thank you for watching. Yeah, those people run the world. They're so impressive. What a bunch of freaks. We appreciate your watching so much. We'll be back.
What a bunch of freaks. Tucker Carlson doing his best class One final thing we've got to play is that President Trump destroyed these people. World Economic Forum is totally evil. It's just like globalism in practice. It is a grift. Everything that you hate about your society, everything that has been that has removed the underpinnings of Western civilization, all of that was incubated by the World Economic Forum. These people are totally evil. These are the people that posted that you will live a future where you live in a pod, where you eat the bugs, where you own nothing and you'll be happy. They produced that. That's the idea. This is Marxism rebranded. It's just communism rebranded. These people are like actually truly goblins. And it's wonderful to see them be destroyed. Now, they predicted that Donald Trump would destroy them. Okay, so let's go to the prediction and then let's go to the reality. Here's the prediction. This is Yuval Harari, who's like the intellectual, mega mind behind the World Economic Forum, saying, Trump wins, we're cooked.
Are you concerned that Trump might be elected again shortly?
I think it's very likely. And if it happens, it is likely to be the kind of like the death blow to what remains of the global order. And he says it openly. Now, again, it should be clear that many of these politicians, they present a false dichotomy, a false binary vision of the world, as if you have to choose between patriotism and globalism, between being loyal to your nation and being loyal to some kind of, global government or whatever.
Yeah, you actually do, Yuval Harari. What the hell are you talking about? Yes, of course I'm loyal to my nation. I must choose my nation over every other nation. That's what makes America America. We have a common culture. At least we used to. We're trying to get it back. We have a common purpose. If you open up our borders to the 9 billion people on Earth, they'll just bring their nations into our nation, and our nation will cease to exist. You do understand this. Their goal is world governance. Their goal is to have an intellectual elite class, of which John Kerry says is extraterrestrial. Don't have time for the clip, but John Kerry straight up says it at the World Economic Forum. We're extraterrestrials, is what John Kerry says. They do actually believe that they are better than us. They do believe that all of us should be slaves under their technocracy, which is just rebranded communism. It's totally evil, and he predicts, rightly, which is kind of awesome, I guess, he's smart enough to say that Donald Trump's going to win, and he's going to destroy globalism forever. Yes. And then he goes on to bitch and moan about how you have to either love your nation or globalism. But you can have both. No, you can't, actually. You must be married to your wife, but also you're dating 70 other women. That's not how it works. That's not how we're wired. They're sick. They're sick people. President Trump destroying them. Here's what it looked like when President Trump joined their World Economic Forum meeting just 2 days after being inaugurated. Donald Trump standing, looming large. I think that's Klaus Schwab on stage, pretty sure. And if you're wondering why the dude resigned, here's why. Go.
Thank you very much, Klaus, and hello to everyone in beautiful Davos. This has been a truly historic week in the United States. 3 days ago, I took the oath of office, and we began the golden age of America. The recent presidential election was won by millions of votes, and all seven, every one of them, all seven swing states, there was a massive mandate from the American people like hasn't been seen in many years. And some of the political pundits, even some of my so-called enemies, said it was the most consequential election victory in 129 years. That's quite nice. What the world has witnessed in the past 72 hours is nothing less than a revolution of common sense. Our country will soon be stronger, wealthier, and more united than ever before, and the entire planet will be more peaceful and prosperous as a result of this incredible momentum and what we're doing and going to do.
Donald Trump calling them out to their faces. This is not the first time that he's done that, but it will be the last time that he calls out Klaus Schwab to his face, as he has resigned, and many reasons to celebrate this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, it's our obligation to you and the entire country to bring on truth tellers on this program, people who actually know what they're talking about, instead of those people who may not have a full mastery of the opinion on the subject matter. That is us at times, and so we are honored to bring on a sheriff from the state of Maryland, Sheriff Jeffrey Galler, who knows the absolute finite details about MS-13, their operations inside of his state, and whether the deported Maryland man back to El Salvador, Mr. Kilmar, is actually a member of that gang. Sheriff joins us live now. Sheriff, I want to thank you for being on the program. There's been a lot of conversation about Kilmar drinking margaritas with your senator down in El Salvador. Your senator says that he's just a great guy, but wouldn't answer whether he's an MS-13 gang member this past weekend when he was doing interviews on this subject matter. Could you please present for us the evidence that this man is an MS-13 gang member?
Well, I've read the reports, and absolutely, this is, and thanks for having me on. This is such a horrific story from the sense that this is the jurisdiction, if your listeners and the viewers aren't aware, this is where Rachel Morin's horrific murder and rape took place in my jurisdiction. My agency investigated that crime. And the Kayla Hamilton case from the year before, where she was killed at the hands of an MS-13 member illegally in the country. And these are the types of individuals that our state senator does not reach out to those families, and yet travels to El Salvador to visit with an affiliate. You know, if not a full-fledged gang member, certainly an affiliate. There's plenty of information out there to demonstrate that through the tattoos, through the clothing, through the admissions, through different reports that are out in the public that I have read. He is certainly tied directly to the MS-13 gang. And as people should be aware, MS-13 has been a gang that goes back more than 40, 50 years in this country, known for their propensity for severe violence, drug dealing, murders, and they rule with a iron fist. You know, MS-13 being a criminal illegal gang is about as common knowledge as gravity keeps us planet to the earth.
So you said here in a recent headline that this individual is 1,000% an MS-13 gang member, followed up by President Trump that afternoon holding up this image of Kilmar. The fact that his name's Kilmar is really something else. His fist with the MS-13 tattoos. Does this vibe with you? Have you seen these tattoos, Sheriff?
I've seen the tattoos. I've seen the pictures. I've seen the clothing. I've seen the reports of law enforcement and confidential informants stepping forward and confirming not only his place within the gang, but what some of the things that he is accused of doing in order to have the name that he had. I don't have those reports directly in front of me, but I've reviewed those reports as we've dug deeper into this issue and the visit to El Salvador again, and just how just tone deaf it is to go visit this individual in El Salvador. The talk that he was mistakenly deported. Well, he was deported by this administration, and as I understand it, that the immigration judge, two of them who heard the case, who also confirmed, both of them, that he was MS-13 member, agreed with his deportation, just not to El Salvador, and that's the big mistake that was made. That is more important to Senator Van Hollen and many others on the left instead of Rachel Morin's horrific death at the hands of a individual in this country illegally with gang ties, or Kayla Hamilton's death, both in my jurisdiction, neither of those families did these elected officials, who are all taking vacations now to El Salvador by the busload apparently, have reached out to these families to say how terrible it is that our country didn't move to protect them from having a secure border, from having a proper way to come into this country, and ensuring that those who are coming in don't pose a threat to our community members. It's terrible.
Sheriff, maybe you can explain to me what it means that your constituents are being butchered by this gang. And here on screen is your senator cozying up very romantically with a salty rim and a cherry on the glass, margarita, with the actual MS-13 gang member who's associated with the raping, the pillaging, and the slaughter of your constituents. I mean, what's your message to Democrats doing this?
Well, again, it seems like, and we have it here with our local legislature in the state of Maryland on many, many different issues. We had a fight this year in Annapolis to keep our 287G partnership with ICE here in 3 jurisdictions in the state, because the left, the Democrats somehow want to partner, side with, advocate for, befriend, or I guess in this, have a great lunch with the criminal element more than they care about law-abiding citizens. And we saw that in the total lack of feeling of any kind toward the families who suffered such horrific tragedies as we saw here in our county. And our county is not unique. Just yesterday morning, Charles County down close to D.C., there's another young woman who has died, and there seems to be apparent ties to, again, illegal immigration. The lack of being on the side of trying to protect our community members and letting illegal criminal aliens run rampant through our community.
So are the people of Maryland going to stand for this? Like, prima facie, Sheriff, it just seems like your representation is saying that we hate native-born Americans.
Sure. I don't understand Maryland's legislature. I don't understand this visit by Senator Van Hollen of siding with, instead of siding with law-abiding citizens, siding with those who are either, and I understand, he hasn't been charged with a crime, he was charged, but he wasn't convicted of a crime. Well, in order to be deported, you don't necessarily, under our current immigration policies, you don't have to be convicted of a crime in order to be deported. We have that program here where if you're screened and you're found to be in the country illegally through the jail program, you don't have to go to court, and ICE can decide to take deportation proceedings. So as far as the immigration process, I understand my understanding is that he had his due process, and maybe just, again, the mistake was the wrong country. But my just disbelief is that we have, again, an entire party and belief system of not siding with the law-abiding citizens in this country. That in Maryland, which is strong Democrat, there was a recent poll done, 65% of Democrats, 76% of our community wants something done, and that's why President Trump was elected. They want something done to protect them from criminal illegal aliens. They want criminal illegal aliens sent back to where they came from. We need to have a pathway to citizenship in this country, coming through the border, that actually works, that actually makes our country better. But that's not what we saw under 4 years of President Biden. We all know that. We saw an invitation to come here, and too many took advantage of that invitation and walked across the border. And the people who suffered are the families of, you've seen Patty Morton in the White House in press conferences. Those sorts of families have suffered because of this lack of control of our border. And the Democrats say, give me more.
It just seems so... it seems like the banality of evil. It's like you couldn't imagine treating some foreigner better than your own countrymen, especially if you're an elected official. But they're doing it. It's like another 80-20, 90-10 issue that Democrats are cozying up to. And as you said, there's another large busload of elected Democrats going down to El Salvador today to go meet with the MS-13 gang. I mean,
and not a one of them reached out to Kayla Hamilton's mom, Tammy, or reached out to Patty or Rachel Morin's mom or the families, not a one of them. And yet this is what's important, to spend taxpayer dollars to jump on a plane, jump on a bus, and go down there and visit this individual. And again, if he was mistakenly, that headline, if he was mistakenly deported, but he was just supposed to go elsewhere, then for my state, for my county, we don't want an MS-13 member or someone with ties to MS-13 to come back here. That's the purpose of our partnership with Immigration and Customs Enforcement in this county. And we want to deport them and send them somewhere else, but don't bring them back here to further victimize our country.
Yeah, I mean, far be it for me to correct a law enforcement official, but the way that I read it, and the way that I'd read immigration law, he is a criminal. It doesn't matter. I mean, he's here criminally.
Sure.
He's not allowed to be here. So every criminal alien is a criminal, and every one of them deserves a swift trip home. That's the way that that's the way that I read the law. And there seems to be no ambiguity there. Potentially, here in conclusion, Sheriff, could you zoom out a little bit and talk about this, the Trump administration itself and its effect on law enforcement? Was there a sigh of relief that was breathed by the officers who work under you when President Trump was elected?
Oh, 1,000%. And that's across the country. And, you have chiefs in appointed positions who aren't as free to speak, but certainly President Trump is much more supportive of the men and women of law enforcement than the past administration. But immigration has been an issue with me for running for this office as far back as 2008, before, it was more so the fentanyl and the unsecured southern border. But we saw President Obama fail to address the problem, although he expanded our partnership and actually put us into the ICE partnership. He failed to secure the border in a meaningful way. President Trump came in and had such a great impact on securing the border, helping eliminate these sorts of threats in so many communities. And then the 4 years of President Biden was just a train wreck, of course. An invitation, not only an open border, but an invitation, a call to arms to come here and invade our country. And so many heard him and so many did it. And now with President Trump coming back in, with law and order finally being a priority once again, the men and women of law enforcement do feel, and we're seeing it turn in recruitment and things like that, where it was just gone. We're seeing more positive influence to help us, knowing that we have the support at that very top level of our government.
Oh, that's awesome. So you've seen recruitment skyrocket for your officers?
Not skyrocket. There's been so much damage done through the calls for police reform, to getting men and women to have an interest in coming into public safety. We have corrections here as an elected sheriff. I'm responsible for that in addition to law enforcement. So then we're a far cry from where we were at one time, but we're on a better path with President Trump and his support for the men and women out there doing a tough job.
Amazing. What happens when you call the police evil murderers, and then the moment that you're being crimed on, you call the police? It's me. I lived in a crime-ridden neighborhood not too far from the Maryland border in Washington, D.C., and it was remarkable to me to see the activists who defamed police be victims of a crime and immediately call the police and wonder why the police aren't showing up. And it really is it's why I moved to Florida. Anyway, we Maryland is beautiful. Annapolis is beautiful. We have a lot of fond memories there, and I thank you for cleaning that area up as best that you can. Godspeed, Sheriff. Everybody should follow the Sheriff, by the way, here on X, Sheriff Galler, and the Hartford Sheriff with their hiring bonus. Hey, if you're listening in Maryland, there it is.
Thank you much. Thanks for having me on.
Godspeed, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very charged video of President Trump at the Easter egg roll that we missed. It's pretty good. We load that one up. Here we go. Donald Trump telling all the children about the fake news. Let's go.
Look at that. Look behind. What nice, the best people. They have good days and they have bad days, but we all do, right? Everything good? Everything all right? You want an egg?
You want an egg? Okay. Very good. Very good. Ladies and gentlemen, in a moment, we'll show you fake Joe Biden's Easter message. Joe Biden literally photoshopped himself into Easter. Is Joe Biden even still with us? We should have a counter. We should have a stinger. We should have a custom stinger, which is like the Biden proof of life stinger. We must have it. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Before we get to that charged subject, bond charge is how we keep our boyish appearance around here, I guess. What's the right way to say it? We do some long hours. I got 4 kids. They're sick. They're in diapers. I need a little bit of R&R at the end of the day, and I don't drink anymore, right? I've cut out all drinking from my life. Can't encourage you enough, actually, to do that. But that's a totally different conversation. You need to have a little, like, if you have those, like, small, dark hours of the evening where your kids are all asleep, except for your newborn, right? Because their schedule's all crazy, and you're, like, just laying there. Dude, Bond Charge. Bond Charge got me set up. I put on my little mask, okay? It's like, it does look unique here, but it's like a sauna, right? It's like a sauna, the red light. There's a ton of science behind this. The red light is soothing. It's relaxing. It helps you with wrinkles, facial line, razor burns, which I get every single day. I refuse to buy a new razor. Any men out there got me? Okay, you just find one thing that works and you ride it till it disintegrates in your hand, literally like vaporizes. That's just the way it goes. Bond Charge's red light face mask is easy to use. It keeps me chilled out, definitely near when I'm trying to get to bed, right? Just 10 to 20 minutes a day. You can use it while cooking a meal or putting your kid down. It can help boost the elastin production, keeping you looking spry. If you got to go do a live stream for who knows how many hours per day. Who knew how long Donald Trump would be chilling with the Easter Bunny? You never know, right? You never know when there's a 3-hour show facing us. It has a 1-year warranty, an awesome design, and it really helps. Chill me out, ladies and gentlemen. I can't emphasize it enough. Go to bondcharge.com/Benny and use the coupon code Benny to save 15%. That's BONCHARG.com/Benny. Use coupon code Benny to save 15%. And yeah, man, you should hear my wife's story about this red light therapy. My wife, who's a nurse, she swears by it. She had some troubles with this last pregnancy. Some skin irritation, and dude, this took care of it. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition, and they've not been evaluated yet by the Food and Drug Administration. Okay. All right. There we go. Okay, so what's going on? Let me see. Where's this Biden? Where's this Biden block? Is it C? Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Joe Biden photoshopped. I'm going to put up a photo. Here we go. Look at this. This is Joe Biden's Easter message. What the hell's going on? There is no way. Guys, give me some memes. I know there's plenty of memes on this. Give me some memes. Give me just let's just off the top here. What's going on here? You zoom out. Because it looks even more ridiculous zoomed out. This is the photo. Give me the original post. The OP. Joe Biden. I wish everyone celebrating a peaceful and joyful Easter. Nothing about Christ. Nothing about like the reason for Easter, which is Christ's resurrection and our salvation for all time. But like more importantly, what the hell's going on with Joe Biden in this photo? Does that like just look at this photo and tell me one of these things is not like the other. One of these things doesn't belong. This is Joe Biden is all of his degenerate grifter children, right? And there's no way that's Joe Biden. There's no way. We don't know if it's a Joe Biden double. We don't know like these, like some of these photos just make no sense, right? Here's Joe Biden and the Carters. Here's Jill and Joe Biden with like the Carters. What's going on here? Are they Munchkinville? Are they miniatures? Was that a theme park or something? Was it the circus? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. That MFer is not real. This MFer is not real. Something's totally up with this Biden photograph. Everybody's saying, like, you can zoom in on it. You can zoom in on the photograph. Let's go to the original photograph. You zoom in on that sucker. Joe Biden is not part of the photo. You can tell. First off, he's dressed completely differently than everybody. Second off, the lighting's all wrong on his face. Third off, like, what's he doing exactly back there? Like, is he standing? Is he sitting? Like, he's at an odd angle. He looks like he should be falling down. He's on a staircase. So how can you stand like that on a staircase? Don't make no sense. Look at that. I think I know that photo of Joe Biden. And then there's like the creepy hand. Look at this hand. Look at that thing. What the hell is that? What is that? No, that's hand's not real. That's not how a hand works. It's not, what he's doing. Is he doing this? So he's doing this with his family? What is that? No! Joe Biden something horrible happened, and Joe Biden was inserted into the photograph. Here's another good one. Look, it's Joe Biden on Easter, everyone. Look, it's Joe. How dumb do they think they are? Like, so he can't even make it for an Easter card, and they wanted him to run the world for another term. Goodness. We got one more meme. Okay, why not? Here you go. Oh, look, Joe Biden with the Kennedys. Oh, look. Oh, it's an exciting Easter for everyone. Look who was there. Wow. Good. You know, the Kennedy, this photo from the 1960s of the Kennedys look more realistic than Joe Biden, who was allegedly there in 2025. Yeah, right. Got it. Okay, let me show you who's actually showing up. Here's Donald Trump this past weekend entering the White House and looking sharp, dude. Okay, so he's got a Gulf of America hat, which is extremely based. But then also, like, look at this next photo of Donald Trump. Donald Trump, and you'll be happy to learn, must have lost like 50 pounds. That's what I said. Trump's looking sharp, man. He's looking strong. He must have lost. Trump, the most stressful, without question, the single most stressful job in human existence is being Donald Trump. Like in man-made existence, right? Like come on, like in the modern world, there's no man that's held more on his shoulders than President Trump. But he's looking great. You would assume that you'd balloon and you'd eat your feelings and everything. Trump looking sharp, man. So we'll see. We'll see what happens next. Donald Trump was there smiling with Elon Musk this past weekend and saying, get ready. Got some big things planned for this week. So it's time to lock in. Ladies and gentlemen, let's lock in a verse of the day from our Holy Weekend and our Holy Week. We hope that you had a beautiful Easter Sunday. You grab that photo of our family, please. We hope that you had a beautiful Easter Sunday. We certainly did. And we didn't really post much, anything. I can show you a photo that's not Photoshopped. This is actually not Photoshop. We didn't have to Photoshop anyone in here. But this is our family. I know that everybody who works at this show seems to have had a lovely weekend and a relaxed weekend. Even Klein came in with a tan this morning, looking refreshed. It's a wonderful thing. And this was our family. Just want to thank you. This is the reason we do the show. We say it all the time, but it bears repeating. Why do we do the show? Well, my kids are Americans. These are my American children. They're nothing else. They're not hyphenated anything. They're just straight up Americans. And I want to leave them a functional country because I'm not some degenerate parasite that's going to strip mine this place for all it's worth and then leave my children nothing. Every fight, everything is for them to have, hopefully, a better life than I had. I think that's probably you watching. You probably have, if you're watching this program, you probably have the same motivation. To protect my children. America first means America first for my American children. Okay? So that's the emphasis for us. And then it's rooted, of course, in our Christian principles. You can go back, there's so many verses about what being a good parent actually means. Not giving your children snakes and scorpions when they ask for bread and water, for instance. Preserving your nation, fighting for your nation, a just and civil society. And this is what we do. And this is our motivation. And there it is. Boom. Done. Clean out the gate. The best explanations in life are the simple ones. So anyway, we just want to thank you for being part of this show, for being part of this build. It's been a wild beginning of the year, and I think it's just going to get crazier, okay? So anyway, God bless you. I hope that you had a beautiful Easter, the resurrection day, a resurrection of our Lord Christ Jesus. Let's jump into a verse from Romans. Let's go. 6:9. For we know that since Christ was raised from the dead, he cannot die again. Death no longer has mastery over him or us. We are then promised eternal life through the blood and sacrifice of Christ Jesus our Lord, a sacrifice we could never pay back. We get down on our knees and we beg for mercy and salvation from our Lord, and he is good. And through Christ you shall be saved. God gave his only begotten Son. Whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life. That is what we celebrated this Easter as Christians. And ladies and gentlemen, is what drives and anchors this program. Hope. And the understanding that we already have the victory, right? That's in the end, we win. So thank you for joining us and for winning with us as we march on. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go do some more winning. It's your boy Benny. See ya.
My fellow commies, I now identify as a bunny. Some of you might be worried that I'm losing my grip on reality. There are more new holidays for us to be confused about. In a few days, we have International Asexuality Day. I'll have a different costume for that. The entire months of June, October, and November are now all gay. And there's a lot more than that, Jack. So strap on your rainbow seatbelt and buckle up.
Where the truth gon' be, faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to life. From the speeches to debates, Benny sharp like a blade, cutting through the lies, watch the truth cascade. With the warrior's heart, this man never fades. You know it's prime time when Benny invades. From saving the nation to stories untold, the Benny Show's a storm, see the truth unfold. Stay in the loop, let freedom take hold. Salting all the libs, soul never sold. It's the Benny Show, where the truth gon' be. Faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. Liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Liberty to light. Bringing liberty to life. From the speeches to debates, Benny sharp like a blade, cutting through the lies, watch the truth cascade. With the warrior's heart, this man never fades. You know it's prime time when Benny invades. From saving the nation to stories untold, the Benny Show's a storm, see the truth unfold. Stay in the loop, let freedom take hold. Salting all the libs, soul never sold. It's the Benny Show, where the truth gon' be. Faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light.